I attended Peking University's graduation ceremony and ran into a childhood friend from a neighboring school. He looked surprised. Wasn't I the same age as him? How was he a second-year student while I'd already graduated? He asked me, "Didn't your goddess Christiana want you to repeat a year so you could attend the same university as her? She's been waiting for you for 2 years." Christiana was my goddess. Our families had arranged us as childhood fiancés. On the night before the college entrance exam, she called me crying, saying some bad people wouldn't let her go home. When I got there, I found out it was a bar. She and a senior from his freshman year drugged my drink. I missed the exam the next morning. Christiana, however, got admitted to the university where that senior studied. She said if it turns into a long-distance relationship, she'll break up, but that if I repeated a year and improved my score, I could be at the same university as her. I was disgusted by Christiana and turned to accept a special admission offer from Peking University. My old friend went on. Christiana dropped out for a while. She said if you hadn't failed the exam and given up on yourself, you would have married right after graduation. She still has feelings for you. If you go back and beg her, she won't look down on you. I smiled. I had already secured a guaranteed place for graduate study and was studying under a renowned international advisor. I had moved forward. She was stuck in place. Who exactly was looking down on whom? Chapter 1. When Jonathan heard me give my background, he swallowed hard. He scratched his head vigorously, a little at a loss for what to say. You got the recommendation for grad school, Peking University, and under a famous mentor. Jonathan's lips went pale as he murmured, "Only a fool would repeat a year." I gave a slight nod as someone called me over for photos. I was the only one who'd skipped a grade and graduated early, the youngest in the class. I'd been treated with a lot of care. As I went to take pictures, Jonathan grabbed my arm so hard the veins stood out. He was outraged, his voice loud enough to draw the other graduates' attention. Christiana was our high school's campus beauty. Do you know how many boys wanted to pursue her? She's your goddess. You had your forehead stitched after those local thugs beat you for her. How could you just not care? Hearing those old events brought a sourness to my ears. Christiana used the college entrance exam to test me. At that time I would have given anything for her. I had been too young then, only caring about the person in front of me. But from another perspective, losing Christiana had meant gaining so much more. They're waiting for me, you can let go, I said flatly. My calm tone infuriated him. What right do you have to skip a grade? You didn't even finish the college entrance exam properly. Did you pull strings? Are you too ashamed inside to go and find Christiana? He ranted, his words packed with explosive anger. To the classmates watching, Jonathan looked like a clown. I could understand. To him, the unattainable goddess had been everything, while to me she barely mattered. Understanding didn't mean I would tolerate his outburst. I kicked him over. He lay on the ground still jabbering. "Stephen, I called it, didn't I? You were wrong to go to that bar back then, and you made her wait 2 whole years. You only get a few 2-year spans in student life." His eyes shone with a strange light, his words full of admiration for Christiana. Christiana hasn't been idle either. She went to work as an assistant at her family's company and is more seasoned than newly graduated college kids. She hides her identity at the company and still manages to be adored by everyone. In only 2 years, big companies have spent heavily to lure her away. Trust fund heirs have used connections just to have dinner with her. She keeps her distance from the men around her, except for a new intern at her company, Phineas, who, riding on his senior status, helps her out. You wasted her feelings, I pity her. Chapter 2. Christiana's looks and background had earned her plenty of admiration at school. Her devoted and sentimental image also drew others' sympathy. But I felt nothing, only a hint of disgust. I still remember the night I failed the college entrance exam. My parents' business ran into trouble the same evening. Christiana's parents had received a great deal of help from my family when they first started their business. Their very first major order came from us. I was in the study when I overheard my father talking to her father on the phone. His tone humble and polite. The other men sounded so warm and concerned, probing for details. "Stephen, don't worry, I'll send the money over right away," he said righteously, full of promises. "Your family once helped us through tough times, we're practically family ourselves." Then his tone shifted. "It's just, our own cash flow isn't as healthy as it looks. We'll need some time. I want Christiana to live a carefree life. As parents, we can't be old-fashioned, but we mustn't pressure her. She liked the gifted, high-achieving Stephen, not the one who failed his exam. Having excellent young men pursue her isn't a bad thing. You know, she should pick the best." My father lowered his head, guilt-ridden that he had dragged me down. "Stephen can repeat a year. What's another 12 months? He said quietly. But he'd already understood Mr. Tang's underlying message, in both personal standing and background. Our family no longer measured up. TSK. One wrong step leads to another. My father sighed. I grabbed the phone, my tone smooth and pleasant. "Uncle Tang, Senior Phineas is a great guy. His parents do business overseas. I think he and Christiana make a good match. They share similar interests and backgrounds. They're quite compatible. Uncle Tang chuckled softly, every word calculated. Stephen, marriage is no small matter. She's still young. She doesn't yet know what kind of husband she should choose. I have to steer the ship for her. Doesn't know. Wasn't he the one who begged at the dinner table years ago for our families to tie a childhood engagement, claiming he'd steer the ship? Our families had been neighbors for 15 years. When his fortunes rose, he used to call me son. Now he simply said, Stephen. I knew that long-standing ties wouldn't crumble just because of an exam failure, but they made a convenient excuse. Childhood sweethearts are just a worn-out trope in stories. Overseas resources that could help his family climb higher, that was the real, perfect match. Still, I remained polite and thanked Uncle Tang. After that, the matter of the funds disappeared without a trace. I accepted the special admission to the capital and my parents started over again. We cut all contact with the Tang family. Stephen, you're zoning out again. Jonathan shook my head, and I raised an eyebrow, meeting his gaze evenly. Christiana Tang is an only child, he said. Her family's business is booming. If you two got married, their wealth would be yours too. Don't you regret studying so far away? The corner of my mouth lifted. Could Christiana get me a graduate spot under a world-renowned professor? Could she introduce our family to business networks in the capital? Could she help me collaborate with international research institutes? I shot him a disdainful glance. A pretty face without even an undergraduate degree. What's there to regret? Self-pity is the cheapest kind of love. I strode confidently to the center spot for the graduation photo. Jonathan, intimidated, seemed rooted to the ground, his legs heavy as lead. Then, amid laughter and cheers, I raised my hand in my family's traditional peace sign pose. Chapter 3. When I left, I'd already decided to draw a clear line with my past. Without Christiana, I poured all my energy into research. My mentor appreciated my dedication and gave me chances to compete. I not only won multiple gold medals in academic contests but also advanced ahead of schedule. One quick step led to another, momentum became habit. My parents' business also made a strong comeback, growing to several times its former scale. Back home, people still thought of me as the loser who repeated a year out of despair. Little did they know, the train of life had already carried me to the next station. Christiana's image in my memory had grown faint. When I drove back to our villa, I found my mom in the kitchen cooking herself, while my dad and my mentor sat together, red-faced and laughing, their arms around each other's shoulders. Mom, why didn't you let the maid cook? She smiled and waved her hand. Your mentor brought his daughter over. I wanted to show off a bit, let her taste my cooking. Behind me stood a graceful figure, delicate features, tall and elegant. It was my mentor's younger daughter, Lillian. She smiled shyly, her quiet gentleness leaving me speechless. Funny, my mentor had always said she was lively and outgoing. Yet every time we met, she seemed timid. My mom called out to us, son, have my daughter-in-law help me carry the dishes. Lillian's face flushed deep red, almost purple. I sighed, taking the tray, and explained, my mom's just like that. She loves playing matchmaker. Lillian followed behind me step by step, whispering softly near my ear, what if? I don't mind being that. I froze for a moment. When I came to, she had already set the dishes neatly on the table. I adjusted quickly. Uncle Tang had taught me well, choose the best option available. A single childhood engagement had nearly chained my life. Back in school, I'd once gone to war for Christiana. When she cried, I dared to storm into the teacher's office demanding answers. For her carefully orchestrated romance, I had tried to be even more romantic. When I couldn't follow lessons at school, I'd spend my nights tutoring her for free. The teachers called us a perfect couple, a match made in heaven. Stephen was the good guy, they said, as long as you didn't make Christiana cry. Life only gives you about 20,000 days. I thought mine would be bound to Christiana. Then Phineas appeared and shattered that rule. He was our senior, transferring back from abroad during our second year. He spoke fluent English, and often played the role of the charming upperclassman. He'd share stories about life overseas, always composed and gentlemanly. I didn't think much of it. After all, boys who admired Christiana were like flowing water. He was just another drop. The turning point came at a citywide business gathering. While the entrepreneurs toasted each other, their children sat at a separate table, chatting idly. It was Phineas's first time attending. There were more girls than boys, and they were eager for gossip. Seeing Phineas as the newcomer, they urged him to share something. He told a simple story about a long-distance breakup, then raised his glass dramatically. Sorry, Stephen, no offense. With grades like yours, you'll easily get into the same university as Christiana. No long distance for you too. Everyone's gaze turned toward us. Christiana's smile was strained. It's fine, I said, taking her hand. As long as we're in the same city, it's okay. We don't have to live on campus. Wherever she chooses to study, I'll go there too. You two are adorable. Phineas applauded. But I'd still suggest the same university, safer that way. He sounded sincere. Even downed 2 cups as if to prove it. The group laughed, chatting and joking. No one took it seriously, but Christiana clearly did. Later, she called out to me downstairs. Stephen, I don't want a long-distance relationship. Even in the same city, we'll be far apart. Don't overthink it, I said. I'll get my driver's license over the break. If I can drive, distance won't matter. I pulled out my phone and showed her a few universities she liked. They were all nearby, 10 or 15 minutes by car. Christiana leaned into me. Okay, maybe I overreacted. I comforted her, promising to practice driving that very night. Don't rush, she said softly. You sound anxious too. She seemed to relax, but I noticed the shadow in her eyes. After that, Phineas always found ways to bring up the topic of how first loves rarely last. Christiana, Stephen's handsome, you know. Last time I posted a picture with him, several girls asked for his contact. I turned them down for you. Christiana, I heard from the teacher that Stephen's applying to big city schools. You'd better keep up. Your scores are quite a bit lower. Christiana, the mock exam results are out. He ranked first in the city. Everyone's asking where he'll go next. They say you're often not by his side. Huh? Phineas never criticized me directly. On the contrary, he praised and admired me. But all that praise became a quiet catalyst for Christiana's doubts. She started disturbing my study sessions, taking over my free time. That was when our relationship faced its first real crisis. Chapter 4. At the 100-day pledge ceremony before the exam, I went on stage to give a speech with the girl ranked second in our grade. Afterward, backstage, the girl politely asked me about a problem she couldn't solve, and we discussed it briefly. Christiana happened to see us talking. She froze, then turned and walked away immediately. I chased her all the way to the school gate, but she had already gotten into her driver's car. With no other choice, I went to her house. Christiana, didn't we plan to go to the snack street today? Oh, you've got company now, haven't you? She said sarcastically. Stephen, I called you and you didn't answer. Turns out you were backstage flirting with another girl. What's wrong? Don't like pretty ones anymore? Prefer ugly ones now? I frowned. What nonsense are you talking about? She's just a classmate. We were discussing academics. And besides, you shouldn't insult people like that. Oh, you're defending her now? Christiana swept all the cosmetics from her dressing table onto the floor. The sound of breaking glass echoed one after another. I held her tightly. Christiana, you're overthinking. There's no other girl in my world but you. She pushed me away, demanding that I leave her house. If you're so innocent, she said, then go tell that girl you don't like her. No, tell her you hate her. Tell her never to talk to you again. I couldn't understand. The girl hadn't even confessed anything. Calling her disgusting out of nowhere would be cruel. Christiana, we're classmates. Do you even hear yourself? She screamed at me to get out. That was the first weekend we didn't see each other. At school, I looked for her more than 10 times. She ignored me every single one. We'd argued before, but we always made up by the afternoon. This time, she stayed angry for a long time. I was tormented, burning with frustration. Still, I thought, the exam's coming. She'll need me to help her review. The night before the college entrance exam, Christiana called me. Her voice was panicked. She begged me to come help her, said she was at Phineas's family's bar. A wave of emotion hit me. Phineas had just posted on his social media yesterday, saying he wanted to drink with someone, and now Christiana was at his place. I didn't have time to think. I drove there. I didn't want to go in, so I called her to come out, but all she texted back was, inside. In the most prominent seat of the bar, Christiana sat lightly made up, her pure demeanor clashing completely with the noisy, smoky atmosphere. When she saw me, her lips stiffened. Let's go. The exam's tomorrow. What are you doing here? If you want to drink, wait till after the test. I'll drink with you, I said, holding out my hand. She didn't even look at me. Only when my arm began to ache did she finally glance my way. Phineas smiled with fake warmth. Come sit, Stephen. Don't tell me you're still studying tonight. You've got to relax a little. Everyone turned to watch. Christiana gave a cold little laugh. What? Are you scared of Phineas now? I never realized you were such a coward. I sat down, expressionless. She sat close to Phineas. No one else around me. They looked like a couple. I called you here for a dare, she said. Who told you to actually come? I stared, anger flaring from my gut to my head. Christiana, are you insane? In this whole bar, can you find one other person taking the exam tomorrow besides us? Christiana bit her lip, then pushed the drink Phineas poured toward me. Drink this, and we'll go back to how things were. I'll take the exam tomorrow like a good girl, otherwise, I won't go at all. I looked at her for a long time. She wasn't joking. I lifted the glass and drank it down in one gulp. A wave of dizziness hit me instantly, my vision blurred. Something was wrong with that drink. Chapter 5. Their voices came and went in fragments. Phineas and Christiana were chatting and laughing as if I weren't even there. Half an hour later, I realized I was lying on a bed. When I woke up, I discovered I had missed the morning exam. In that instant, my entire world spun out of control. My night at the bar became the talk of the town. Teachers and classmates said they never imagined my stress was that severe. The label "the drunk student" was nailed to my forehead. People whispered that Christiana must have been blind, that I looked like a model student on the surface, but was rotten inside. They said I went drinking alone, got myself drunk, and then called my girlfriend to pick me up. My parents never asked for the full story. They were too overwhelmed by their business troubles. The Tang family, our supposed lifeline, kicked us while we were down, just like Christiana. Christiana offered me a choice: repeat the year and apply to the same university she'd gotten into. I answered her with action. We erased our traces in Haishi and moved the whole family to the capital. Jonathan, humiliated by my earlier rejection, spread my story back home. Soon, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Calls came from every corner of the country. I ignored them all. I changed my number, planning to tell friends and relatives only after the gossip died down. But I underestimated Christiana. The next afternoon, after my senior took me on a tour of the lab, Christiana blocked me at the door. 2 years of working in a company had transformed her completely. She wore a fitted blazer and a short skirt, eye-catching and sharp. Her gaze was cold and piercing, her clenched fists trembling slightly. How long are you planning to keep hiding from me? Chapter 6. Her eyes were wet, her voice cracking with emotion. I lowered my gaze, my expression weary. Get out of my way. She froze in disbelief, her chest heaving. Stephen, do you even know what you're saying? She lunged toward me, assuming I'd catch her like before, but I stepped back. Christiana fell hard to the ground. Her fair legs scraped and streaked with red. Her face turned pale as she stumbled to her feet. Stephen, how could you treat me like this? My patience thinned. I tugged at my collar, speaking lazily. Oh, and how exactly have I wronged you? My indifference shattered what was left of her composure. We promised we'd never do long distance. Am I that disgusting to you now? You didn't even say goodbye. You swore you'd never leave me. Students around us stopped walking. Anyone else might have asked to talk somewhere private, but I had nothing to hide. Stephen, say something. Were you playing with my feelings all along? She wanted to erase everything I'd done for her. She thought a single drink could bend reality to her will, while her family mocked mine from above. Even after we left in disappointment, they prettified their betrayal. And she basked in Phineas's attention, wanting everything both ways. Watching her makeup smear as she cried didn't move me. It disgusted me. When I was sitting on that hotel bed, betrayed by the woman I loved most, who stood up for me, which of her vows ever came true? After all these years, I finally understood. Christiana, just a hypocritical bitch. As I walked past her, Christiana suddenly grabbed my hand like a startled reflex. Miss Tang, I said evenly, please stop harassing me. She froze, her beautiful features twisted slightly, her breathing turning heavy. To you, she asked in a trembling voice, am I just some woman who doesn't matter anymore? Her long, manicured nails scraped my hand, leaving a red line. You should apologize, she said. You don't deserve one, I replied coldly. Hands are vital for a researcher. I couldn't risk struggling with her. An injury would cost me precious time. My senior, who had been standing nearby looking helpless, made a quick decision and called for Lillian. Lillian came running, beads of sweat glistening on her forehead. Panting slightly, she stopped beside me, her gaze calmly assessing Christiana. Stephen, she said with a soft smile, my father's top disciple is visiting our home. He asked me to bring you over. She ignored Christiana deliberately, slipping her hand into mine with graceful ease. Perfect, I said. We still have time to buy a gift, right? No rush, she replied cheerfully. We can stop by the mall on the way. Your mom's cooking is delicious. Isn't her birthday coming up? You can tell me what kind of things she likes. Lillian was just as tall and striking as Christiana, but Christiana's outfit made her look several years older. Her steps faltered. She stumbled and twisted her ankle. For someone who hated pain, she didn't make a sound, just bit her lip until it turned white. Lillian pretended to notice her only then, turning back with a look that was soft but cutting. Excuse me, she said coolly. You're not a student at our university, are you? What business do you have with my boyfriend? Christiana forced a smile, but it looked painfully unnatural. Her lips moved silently, repeating the word boyfriend. I looked at her pale, disoriented face, but felt no satisfaction, no rush of revenge, only emptiness. If nothing unexpected happened, I would never mention Christiana's name again. When you truly stop caring, there's no need for vengeance. I could tell Lillian enjoyed the title of girlfriend. She was a year older than me, her abilities and credentials top-notch. I knew my parents and mentor were subtly trying to bring us together. She gave me her full support, asked for nothing in return, and shared the same values as I did. How could I possibly refuse a girl like that? We'd already fallen for each other, only one thin layer separated friendship from love. As for Christiana, she was a stranger to me now. Christiana reached out to tug at my sleeve. Stephen, you're doing this on purpose, to get back at me for what I did back then. Before she could touch me, Lillian sharply slapped her hand away. Her delicate brows drew together. Her raised palm hung poised in midair. I was stunned. I'd always thought of Lillian as gentle and soft-spoken. Never this fierce. If you keep making a scene, she said coldly, I won't hesitate to slap you right here on campus. Can't you see my boyfriend wants nothing to do with you? Her voice carried a cutting authority that made Christiana flinch. She opened her mouth to argue but no words came out. Her eyes reddened. Stephen, she pleaded softly, I shouldn't have fought with you. Please don't be angry. Let's just talk. The two of us. She glanced at Lillian bitterly. Why should I waste my time on someone who has nothing to do with me? I replied. I wasn't the Stephen from 2 years ago. Then I took Lillian's hand. I'll drive, I said lightly. Bought the car back in my freshman year. No girls ever sat in the passenger seat before. Chapter 7. Lillian answered softly, her tone sweet and calm. Hand in hand, we walked with an easy rhythm. From the lab to the school gate was a straight path, one you could see the end of at a glance. It looked short, but walking it took more than 10 minutes. When I turned back, Christiana was still standing in the same place. From afar, she was nothing more than a small, fading shadow. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, but for us, those 2 points would forever remain parallel, never to meet again. I couldn't see her face clearly, but I knew, her pride had been shattered. She couldn't understand how I could be so utterly indifferent, but without her, my life was still brilliant. Christiana's obsession ran too deep. I was slightly tipsy, and though Lillian offered to drive me home, I told her to stay and take care of our mentor. In the underground parking lot, Christiana was waiting by my car, her gaze unfocused. The moment she saw me, she stumbled forward and grabbed my arm. Stephen, you owe me an answer, she demanded. What did I do so wrong that you left without a word? You blocked every way I could reach you. The haze of alcohol vanished in an instant. Christiana, I said coldly, what exactly do I owe you? It's been 2 years. You said you bought a car so you could see me every day. Was that a lie too? You got into Peking University and didn't tell me. I waited for you to repeat the year, and instead you graduated and got yourself a girlfriend. What am I to you? Christiana's voice rose, sharp and desperate. Her hair was a mess, her clothes wrinkled. Back in our hometown, countless admirers would have rushed to defend her, insisting she was the one wronged. But I wasn't about to indulge her tantrums anymore. I opened the car door, but she shoved me hard, anger finally erupting after 2 years of bottled resentment. You could have taken the exam again. 1 more year wouldn't have killed you. Don't tell me it wasn't your parents' business failure that wounded your pride. You could have just talked to me. If we got married, my family's company would have been yours. Why couldn't you let go of your damned pride? My pride? I laughed bitterly, stepping closer until we were eye to eye, though there wasn't a trace of tenderness left in mine. Don't tell me you didn't know there was something wrong with that drink. My father trained my alcohol tolerance since I was a kid. 1 glass of liquor wouldn't knock me out. Let me guess, Phineas came up with the plan, didn't he? Said if I missed 1 subject, I'd score close enough to get into the same university as you. I clenched my fists, fury rising in my chest. I went to that bar because I was worried about you, because I thought you were in danger. You teamed up with another man to drug me. Did it ever cross your mind what would have happened if he'd slipped poison instead? I balanced studying and spending time with you. Never once blamed you for slowing me down, and you used my concern against me. I was your boyfriend, Christiana. So what was Phineas? When the teachers and classmates started gossiping, where was your courage then? Why didn't you say you were the one who called me that night? Why didn't you say you were at that bar, drinking with another man? Where was your precious pride then? Christiana's whole body trembled, her teeth knocking together as she spoke. And your family, it was my father who introduced you to your very first big client. That's what helped you get back on your feet. I can understand if others wouldn't help, but what did your father say? That our families weren't of the same class anymore, that other men were more suitable for me. The funding he promised never existed, and he even contacted our clients behind our backs, stealing the business for himself. I wanted to ask him why, and then I saw Phineas's post. You and that girl at the class reunion, your head resting on her shoulder. What could I even say after that? You and Phineas went to the same university, she became your junior, and your relationship just got closer. Tell me, if you were me, could you just forgive and forget? I folded my arms, my gaze sharp as a blade. You're not just selfish, you're stupid. When I gave you sincere advice, you treated it like noise. When someone else whispered nonsense, you believed it like gospel. We can't be lovers, Christiana, only enemies. Christiana half knelt on the ground, lost, searching for support. My words broke what little composure she had left. No, You misunderstood me. Her breathing turned ragged, her temples pulsing violently. That drink, it couldn't have been tampered with. A sob tore from her throat. Tears splattered onto the ground as she fell apart before my eyes. It was Phineas. She cried. He said it would help you relax. He said the college entrance exam wasn't as important as us, that I should test you. She curled up slightly, struggling to piece her thoughts together. He told me you were under too much pressure, that drinking together would show whether you truly loved me. We were in a cold war, and I wanted to know if you still cared. I cared too much about face. I wanted everyone to see how much you loved me. She stumbled to her feet, inching closer to me. I didn't want to lose you. My dad lied to me. Phineas lied to me. I stared at her blankly. Then why didn't you clear the air afterward? Tell everyone you were the one who went to drink. She was silent. After a long pause, Christiana spoke again, her voice dull and defeated. My father forced me to intern at his company. He took my phone away and made me work as his assistant. He said you insulted him over the phone. Phineas backed him up. Then he showed me screenshots, said you'd added several girls on WeChat. The profile pictures looked just like yours. Her lips pressed into a thin line. I had my doubts, but when you blocked me, I got angry. Christiana gave a bitter smile. Every time we fought, you were the one to apologize first. I thought, this time wouldn't be any different. I thought if I waited, you'd turn back, but you never did. Chapter 8. Christiana took a deep breath, her fingers tightly interlocked. I dropped out of school and threw myself into work. She said hoarsely, I blamed you for being heartless, but I couldn't stop missing you. Last year, my dad tried to push me toward Phineas. Our family wanted to expand overseas, and his family had the right connections. Her words poured out in a rush. I didn't say yes, but I didn't say no either. I thought, maybe I could make you angry. So in public, I appeared with Phineas, side by side, but deep down, Stephen, I knew I loved only you. To me, it was laughable. She'd had countless chances to resist, but she never did, not once. Phineas had ulterior motives, and Christiana played along, half rejecting, half inviting. Love, once tainted by betrayal, only disgusts when revisited. She cried uncontrollably, lowering herself in a way she never had before. But there was no us anymore. One wrong step led to another, until the whole path collapsed. If I used her own tricks against her, she'd probably wish me dead. I had no interest in hearing her repentance. So I got in the car and rolled down the window. Don't come looking for me again, I said calmly. I love my girlfriend very much. She'd never get angry with me, but I won't let her be hurt either. Christiana panicked, almost hysterical. As I started the engine, she leaned against the window, keeping up with the car as it moved. Stephen, you're not married yet. I still have a chance, right? I know I was wrong. I'll give up the Tang family. Give up Phineas. I just want you. Everything I have, my body, my life, it's all yours if you'll just come back to me. I hit the brakes. Her face lit up with desperate hope. You're forgiving me? I shook my head, voice steady. Christiana, you're imagining things. I've been drinking, so I can't drive. My chauffeur's already on the way. I felt strangely calm, detached, as I asked the question that silenced her. The day your father kicked us when we were down, our families became enemies. Tell me, Christiana, could you abandon your father and cut ties with your family for me? Christiana froze. The words seemed to knock the air out of her. Her lips quivered, but no sound came. I'm not here to make you regret anything, I continued. I don't need you to give up anyone for me. I'm happy with my life now. I enjoy it. Your reappearance only brings chaos. In the future, no. For the rest of my life, don't ever bother me again. The chauffeur arrived, and the car pulled away. Through the rearview mirror, I saw Christiana running after me, her image growing smaller and smaller. 3 seconds later, a cry of despair echoed through the parking garage, sharp, raw, and unwilling to fade. Chapter 9. A month later, I attended an academic symposium and ran into my former homeroom teacher. She told me that Christiana had withdrawn from university. Phineas's chain of bars had all gone up in flames, simultaneously. The interiors were decorated with imported materials, and the fire caused enormous losses. Phineas's family then swallowed a shipment of Tang family goods, claiming it was a natural disaster and the cargo was lost in transit. The two families fought for a month before cutting ties completely. Christiana Tang was suddenly promoted from assistant to vice president, overseeing every aspect of the company. But she wasn't skilled at management. Tang Group's profits hit record lows, and the stock price plunged again and again. Then Lillian told me someone had sent her an anonymous text message, offering $5 million if she stayed away from me for 2 years. I didn't need to guess, I knew it was Christiana. 2 years, the timing was too deliberate. Did she really think that stealing 2 years from Lillian would somehow make them equals again? Lillian cursed furiously, deleted the message, and blocked the sender. The next time I saw Christiana was when I earned my doctorate. My mentor took me to another conference. Some companies were eager to hand me their business cards. Lillian and I attended in formal wear, hand in hand, officially announcing our relationship. My mentor proudly introduced me to everyone. He's my best student, and soon to be my son-in-law. Our engagement ceremony's next month. You must come. Around us, congratulations poured in from all directions. Only in the corner sat a woman dressed elegantly but surrounded by an air of desolation. Christiana had grown thin, her once bright eyes now dull, locked onto me without blinking. People greeted her, but she didn't respond, she couldn't seem to hear them. Lillian noticed and asked curiously, "That woman looks kind of familiar. Do you know her?" I chuckled and tapped her nose. "No, never seen her before. Let's go to my place tonight," I added. "My mom knitted you a scarf." Lillian's eyes lit up. "Really? I've been craving your mom's cooking." After my speech, I looked back toward the corner, but the figure was gone, as if she'd never been there at all, like a dream that dissolved with the morning light. Chapter 10. In the capital, I ran into someone I never expected to see again. Phineas. He invited me to dinner with his girlfriend, a woman with permed hair and a taste for bright, gaudy colors. At first, I didn't intend to go, but confidence changes things. I wanted to see what game he was playing. "Stephen, you won," Phineas said after 2 drinks, his tone oddly calm. His girlfriend didn't understand Chinese, so he spoke freely. "Christiana would rather stay single for life than be with me." I sipped my wine and said evenly, "And how is that my problem?" He went quiet for a few seconds, frowning, unsure how to read me. "Stephen, Christiana broke off our family's partnership because of you." I stood up. "If you're going to keep circling around the point, I'm leaving." Their messy family drama was none of my concern, but what he said next stopped me cold. "I want to apologize." That night at the bar, there was something in the drink. I raised an eyebrow, surprised that he could admit it so openly. With his pride, bowing his head meant things must have gone badly for him. He rubbed his palms together nervously. In just 2 years, he'd already started balding, small patches, but noticeable up close. "I know your time's valuable," I said flatly. "So is mine. I didn't come here to drink. I have trauma from that night." My blunt tone made his mouth twitch involuntarily. He poured me a glass of wine with exaggerated politeness. "Stephen," he said humbly, "I know I've sunk low, but I have no one else to ask. The economy's bad. Overseas tariffs are killing us. My family's on the verge of bankruptcy. You've got connections everywhere. Could you help us find a way out?" As he spoke, he began to rise, as if to kneel. When he realized I had no intention of stopping him, he gritted his teeth and actually dropped to his knees. Then he slapped himself hard across the face, again and again. "I know I let emotions cloud my business. I wasted years chasing the wrong things. Looking at it now, Christiana and I were both wrong. You're the one who truly succeeded. I was blind, arrogant. I wronged you, Stephen." I crossed one leg over the other, watching him without blinking. "Don't bother with the theatrics," I said flatly. "I'm not buying it." When I returned to my car, he rushed over to open the door for me, the man who once looked down on me, now bowing his head like a servant. The irony was almost comical. His car still cost 10 times more than mine, but I had my own thoughts. My parents' company had accumulated enough. It was time to expand. Phineas wanted me to lend him a hand, but what I intended to do was to swallow him whole. When I got home, my father was on the phone, his face dark with irritation. "My son and your daughter have nothing to do with each other anymore. You." I snatched the phone from him. "Uncle Tang." There was a sharp pause on the other end. Tang's bitter voice trembled. "Stephen, I was just speaking with your father about something important. If it's business, you can speak to me," I replied coolly. "I can make the decisions." Tang's voice cracked, half pleading, half desperate. "Tang Group needs a lifeline. You and Christiana Tang may have missed your fate together, but she loved you for years. Even if you hate me, at least for her sake, help us this once. We'll repay you, as ox or horse, whatever you wish." She's got no face to speak of. What did you say?" I answered, voice calm as ice. One wrong step led to another. "Uncle Tang, you brought this on yourselves. A boomerang always hits hardest on the way back, and this time, it struck deep. Did they think my family was still easy to manipulate? Maybe once, but not anymore." I sneered. "Do I need to talk business rationally with people like you? Christiana came to me herself and I didn't give her the time of day. You think a phone call from you will change that? Your Tang family's downfall is karma at work. You had the best cards and played them into the dirt. I can help you solve your problems," I added, "but I'll do it my way." 2 months later, my family acquired 80% of Phineas's company shares. 6 months after that, the once prestigious Tang Group was bought out at a basement price. Retribution had perfect timing. The Tang family sold their villa and moved into a small apartment. Christiana went to a big city to work, the remaining money barely enough for a down payment. Phineas's family became employees under our company. He's more of a bootlicker than anyone else. Lillian and I had a child, and the rest of our lives were peaceful and happy.